Well, there's some really interesting things going on in the Orange County housing market that I am going to show you today. We've got some special information that we're going to put up, show you guys some slides and some data of the Orange County market. No agenda here, just the facts. So let's go ahead and get started right now. This is Dean Odell with Seven Gables Real Estate and the Odell Group. Today is March 6th. And right now we are going to go to the slides and get started. Okay, so looking at that active listing inventory, look where we are. We're following that orange line. Not too different from last week, right? In terms of the difference between today versus 2 weeks ago versus last year. You can see though that there is more inventory, and that is good. We need that inventory, but look at where it compares to prior to COVID, right? Almost 5,000 homes back then. Well, there was also more buying going on back then. So we need to look at how that compares. And when we look at demand on this next slide, today we have 1,542 homes that went into escrow in the last 30 days. That's up 32 homes from 2 weeks ago, and it's down a little bit from last year. So here we've got more inventory, but we have less homes in escrow. So, you got to question why, which we're trying to look at. And one of the really good ways to look at this is to break it down by price range. So we're going to show you that on another slide, but notice what our 3-year average used to be. It was almost another 900 homes that were going into escrow. But let's not forget, there was about 1,600 more homes on the market too. So let's take a look now and see where we are, because this is interesting. This is not a normal slide for us, but if you look, you'll see the inventory has really increased in the lower price ranges from 0 to $1 million. And we're trying to figure out, what does that mean? Does that mean that these people finally built some equity and they want to move up and take advantage of the lower rates from previous? Does it mean that they're moving out of the area? They're done with this. It's hard to afford a house here. We're just going to have to see how this demand keeps up relative to the price ranges moving forward. But you can see there has been a big increase, anywhere between 21 to 44% from that 0 to $1 million range. And that's a lot more homes on the market. And I'll tell you what our theory is on that too, for that price range. There's a lot of condos in that price range, and a lot of the condo associations are having problems with new regulations for balconies, for fire insurance. Maybe they were mismanaged, their HOAs. So that could be part of it as well. Now, when we look at $1 million and up, what you notice is that the increase is more similar to what we're seeing all the way up to 2.5, just roughly about a 10%, 11% average. So that price range, that's good for these people because they have more to choose from. The interest rates are lower, and I'm going to show you that in a minute too, what that means. And interesting also is that over 2.5 million, the inventory is actually down by 18% from last year. We're going to have to keep our eyes on all of this, but overall, the inventory is up about 11% for Orange County. So looking at the next slide, you'll see that we're talking about how interest rates have impacted affordability for people. So if you wanted a $5,000 a month payment on a home, if that was kind of your target, all right, last year you could have borrowed $940,000. This year you can borrow more than $100,000 more, $1,042,500. So this is what I mean by you have more purchasing power. Or you can, look at it the other way, which is by payment, and say, okay, well, if I was buying $1 million home with an $800,000 loan, my payment used to be $5,322 last year. This year it's $4,796. And on a yearly basis, on an annual cost, I'm saving $6,300 or so. That's good. That's going to put more than $500 a month back into your pocket. So it's almost like buy a house, get a car for free, right? A car payment anyway. Or you can simply just take that savings, put it in your pocket. You could use that savings to buy a bigger house and spend that $500 in another mortgage to buy a bigger house. So this is what's interesting about this market. The buyers actually have it better than they've had it in a long time, and we're not seeing a giant spike in demand. So we're going to go to the next slide now. We're looking at the Orange County expected marketing time year over year. And you can see today it's 69 days. 2 weeks ago, it was 67. Last year, it was 61. And the 3-year average prior to COVID was 62. So we're just like, a week slower than prior to COVID. or a little bit slower, 8 days or so slower than last year. So you can look at that orange line, you can see what's happening, kind of flattening out unexpected marketing times, kind of following a regular pattern. There's been nothing too unusual in the previous slides when you compare them year by year and you look at the graphs and you look at the lines and you compare year to year. The last 3 years have all been very tight, very similar. So we'll see how the patterns play out, but we also always like to break these down by price range also. So when you look at the next slide, what you're going to see is the craziest slide we've had in a long time. You're going to see that the demand by price range jumps all over the place. So you can look at that top legend in the left, and it's very unusual to go from a slight seller's market to a hot seller's market to a slight seller's market to a balanced seller's market to a slight buyer's market to a balanced market to a deep buyer's market. I mean, all these different subsets of markets, right? And then on top of that, you got to say, okay, how does this look within the communities that I want to buy or I want to sell? So that's what we do when we get together with you. We'll break that down so that you can see what's going on in your home. Next, I'm going to move to my advice to buyers and sellers. I'm going to tell you what our boots on the ground showed us this week with regards to all of what we just went over. Okay, so the market's a little strange right now. Of course, we got a lot going on in this world. That's for sure, right? So are buyers hesitant to pull the trigger or is the economy falling apart slowly? I mean, you turn on the TV, you listen to the news, you got half the country that says it's great, half the country that says it isn't, half the country is one way, half the country is the other way. It's very, very hard. So you got to figure out what's right for you. There is no crystal ball. All I can tell you is after 35 years in this business, been through a lot, seen a lot. If you just buy for the long term, you're going to be fine. If you need to make some short-term adjustments, that's where you get yourself in trouble. So if you're secure in your job, you're secure in your income as a buyer, then you should buy. And there's plenty of you buyers out there. I'm going to review what we had go on this week real quick, just on our team. So we had 3 listings that came to market. One was in Lakewood, and it was $940,000. Another one was in North Tustin, it was $1.7 million. And another one was in Orange, and it was $1.295 million. Okay. Now we're still negotiating out these offers, but we had 5 in North Tustin, 5 in Long Beach, and we had 3 in North Tustin. Every buyer offered over asking price on these houses. Okay. So now we're trying to figure out, okay, let's balance, the price with the terms and try to figure out where the seller wants to go with these offers. Okay. But there's 13 offers on 3 properties. So again, there is competition out there. Everybody's kind of waiting on fairly priced homes, whether you're a buyer or whether you're a seller. Sellers, you should know, don't overprice your houses. They're just going to sit. Buyers, you should know that you're not the only buyer in town. So, follow the advice of your agent. There's a lot of agents out there. I can tell you, our team has done a great job of getting their buyers offers through in the first 60 days of this market. We've had a lot of sales, and we've got a lot of listings that are now coming to market, and a lot of listings we're working on that are soon to come on the market. So whether you're a buyer or whether you're a seller, we've constantly got activity going on. We have crews that are out there processing our listings in terms of getting them ready for the market, painting, staging, anything you guys need, we can provide. Estate sales, whatever. We are a turnkey solution sellers. Don't freak yourself out trying to get your house ready. Call us first and let's set up a plan that makes sense, okay? Don't try to think that you're going to probably save money, because you know what? Time is money. And unless this is something you do every day like we do, it's going to take you a lot longer than us. I mean, most of our houses we can get done in 2 to 3 weeks. And I'm talking new flooring, new paint, new carpet, yard, landscaping, everything. So it's like we've got crews that this is what they do day in, day out. They've worked with us for, over a decade. We've got the people on the team that help to process this. They're average probably 15 years on the team. Our salespeople average 10 years on the team. Okay. So this is a very well-oiled machine. It's very well experienced, thousands of transactions between us. And so we can help you. We think we've seen almost everything, but every once in a while we get surprised. So let us help you. Don't make this harder than it has to. This is what we do every day. give us a call. And if you like this, go ahead and subscribe. It'll keep coming at you every 2 weeks. And we hope to see you on the next podcast.